Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. It is just 3:40 a.m. over on the East Coast. I am getting an early start because family is starting to arrive. The big party is coming on Saturday, so earlier start, get a little bit done, spend some time with them as we await CPI. So, going to go over this really, really slowly but as quickly as possible. As yesterday we reached 47.90.80. 3 points, 2.5 points, 2.5 points shy of our 2023 high, just about 30 points off of our all-time highs. And I'll get to that in a minute. 34.60, the range. The range was smaller on yesterday than it was on Tuesday, but we did close green. And a lot of FOMO has come into place. As I'll go over this just to show here, right? At 2:15 in the afternoon yesterday, the news came out that spot Bitcoin ETFs will begin trading tomorrow being today. And there is going to be new issuances 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and so on, more, 17, 18, whatever. Call it 20 new ETFs that are all based on Bitcoin. Now, Bitcoin, nothing, no movement. Bitcoin is pretty much flat. And like I posted there in the alert room, you're getting these new ETFs trading tomorrow. Where will the liquidity come from? Is there just magically going to be money that appears from nowhere and go into all of these 20? Oh, there we go. Got to turn off the volume, turn off the tick strike. Financialjuice.com. It's your number one place to be. CPI is at 8:30 today. Jobless claims at 8:30. No real speakers. And then we got a 4-week auction and the big 30-year auction. After that, the U.S. federal budget balance, which you've already heard, there will be no stopgap. So back over here to this ETF stuff. Where will this money come from? Where will the liquidity come from to finance that? As of right now, nobody cares because where we have on our futures are right almost 3.5 points away from the January 2022 all-time high on the futures. Futures, a little bit of a different count only because you get those big adjustments as they roll over on the quarterlies. And as I posted there in the futures room, I am short at 48.30. I will enter and add on to more shorts at 48.40 because I am not, how would I say, fucked up, I guess is the word you could say, of this day trade. Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go. That's our place. Here we go mentality that a lot of people have gotten sucked into because this is my target zone. My target zone is 46.50, 46.07, the gap from when we rolled over on our December contracts. That's where I'm looking for on the ES, bare minimum. Thus, I have nothing to worry about. I was wrong. I didn't change the date on this. We are pushing right back to our highs from 2023, which is the all-time highs on the ES. I didn't change the date, so I apologize. It is not the 2022 high. It's the all-time highs over here on the ES, and that's where we're at. We're a couple points off of that. Anyway, looking at it structurally, 4-hour chart, we were extremely overbought. We got a nice little sell down, as we did know always as we were going into that dip. We were already oversold, and we were expecting to get this bounce. Here we go on to a shorter time frame, looking at the 1 hour, and again, oversold as we went into the end of last week, knowing we would get a bounce. Big overbought as we went into that Monday gap up and run. Got oversold on that dip as we shared there on Tuesday, and here we are floating back up into the overbought range. So, me personally, I have very little to fear. I'm not looking at this from a zero DTE window. I'm looking at it from a bigger, broader, wider point of view. And again, there's really not much more to discuss on it other than the fact that you are in a window where all of a sudden everything looks amazing. But then again, you are also in the window where today is your new moon, January 11th. Your next full moon is coming on January 25. Today is the new moon. Now, why does that matter? Well, I'll get this off the screen over here and we will zoom through a little bit more info and go to the new moon stuff. So yesterday, again, closed green, had a red close the day before. Ooh. And here we are. Now, over on the SPX, again, on the spread count, BTC ETF. I will go back to that again, 2:15 p.m. 14. Today is 14 trading sessions since we have had a minus 1% decline. Now, when we got that minus 1% decline back on December 20th, the flash crash, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So, again, you get the number 25 I had highlighted here in December because we had gone 25 trading sessions without a minus 1% decline. So all it is, we're keeping count. That's all that we're doing, is we're keeping count. Looking at where we are at the moment with the QQQ, 409.52 closed right at 408.50, and thus coming over to our charts, I'll get to NVIDIA at the end. We have completely filled the gap which needed to be filled, so I can remove this. And here we are sitting 2 points below the all-time highs over there at 413.10 on the QQQ. Now that gives me an opportunity to be a little bit interesting here, and I'll just do it on this chart right here. Tick Q. Come on, work keyboard. Tick Q. We want Q, not tick. All right, so here we go. I'm looking at a 1 day, 1 minute. Now, here we floated around complete crap yesterday. And then right here at 5:30, we got a minus 1,000 after this big shakeout that came over here at 12:30. 12:30, 1 o'clock, we got a big shake where we had our little dip and then we had our little bounce. The news came out at 2:30 that you were getting the ETF, and that was where you got your dip down. Right when that news came out, right there just after 2 o'clock. And then, as you see at the end of the day, you rallied up. Now, looking at this from a blind man's point of view, minus 1,000 versus, and quite a few minus 800s there at the end of the day, versus the high of the day being 688. Whereas QQQ yesterday finished, where was it? Yeah, we almost got a plus 1% day. Yesterday was not that I'm going to keep track of that, plus 0.93% on the day. So again, a lot of fuckery going out there, today being the new moon. So be cautious about your FOMO for upside movement. Well, you're getting CPI. Now, as I shared at the beginning of the the beginning of the week, CPI is coming out today. On December, we missed. November 14th, we beat. On October 12th, we missed. Pretty much in line, a little bit of beats here and there, having not had a miss since all the way back in October of 2022. Suddenly now, October, December, we had misses. However, those misses did not result in anything catastrophic like what we had back here in September with a minus 178 point day. We closed green in November, plus 84 points. Closed green in December, regardless of the miss, plus 21 points. And we have been closing green on CPI days pretty much every single month, other than the one you see here, going back into April, which was a beat, and the fractional one there in February, where we were already in our minus 9.5% downtrend. So CPI, what does it mean? It means fuck all. It means that today is Thursday. It means that after having 9 green weeks in a row, we were due to retrace that. Now, with our week being 4703, absolutely not. We are not getting a red week unless we get a incredible CPI day. The month being 4745, this is why it has continued to be earlier in the week when I was available as a tradable target while we were down in that area, because that is your January monthly candle. Up here at 4783 and with a 17-point gap up as we speak right now, absolutely no way prior to CPI is there going to be any kind of play looking at 47.45 until we get there. So back off a tick, back onto, what was this? I forget what I had on here. What was it before? Oh, well, that was a QQQ. So QQQ, boom, boom, boom. QQQ, look at 15-day 30, you can see the entire move. Boom, boom. We had our dip, 20 points. We have our bounce virtually retracing. Not making any kind of predictions on this because of CPI. Like I said, we've got the jobs reports, we have the earnings reports that are going to be starting tomorrow. And like I shared already, your new moon. New moon today. Why does the new moon matter? Well, we'll go over onto the SPX. Here's our SPX week to date, opening up 4,700. Boom, algo day. Got our gap down there on Tuesday, pretty much traded flat, nothing spectacular. Expected yesterday to be flat. It was pretty relatively flat as we made that fractional little move up to 47.78, right back down, testing 47.65, and then you went into the Bitcoin ETF. Boom, up there to 47.91, right back down below 47.78, and then your last couple of minutes of the day closing above it. So wide view. That's too much info for me because that's all gaps that are down below, and there's no gaps that are up above. Well, I'm not looking to show you that. This is the new moon. The new moon, the new moon, the new moon. The new moon, as we look at it from where does the new moon hit? And these red markers are all dates where the new moon occurred. And you don't need to be a rocket scientist to see these new moons pretty much tended to occur right around major turning points in one way, shape, or another, with a plus or minus 1, 2, 3 day window on them. New moons. This was the one right over here in November, which came right after the CPI report, where we had that big gap up where all you got to do is move that new moon right there and say, yep, that's how it was. But no, the new moon took place on that day. That should have been our top as we came over there right to that September area. And as everybody knows, when we played with that trend line going into the beginning of December, that was when we went on that euphoria into the highs, 47.93. So we have a new moon today. So the new moon, and looking at it from another perspective of the full moon. We had our full moon there. We just had our full moon. Yeah, that was our full moon. Sorry, I don't need to duplicate that. Our full moon took place right there, almost to the date on the all-time high. Now here we are, retraced right back up to it. So a lot is on the table with today being CPI. So QQQ, everything is inside QQQ. Microsoft, Meta, Amazon were the only ones doing anything on QQQ yesterday. And then all of a sudden, boom, you got your big bounce there in the afternoon and everybody kicked in. NVDA, looking at it from a week-to-date chart as it started right down there at that magical 494, big, huge move up to that 510, 515 area, and then just a little bit of a grind. And then again, Tuesday, your big move, 517 being the second marker now, and your major move to the upside there on Tuesday. Then your dip coming down right here to this 530, with that being the gap that needs to be filled going back to Tuesday. What I love is how NVIDIA yesterday on each one of these dips played right to that 539.82. The reason I love it is because it tells me I've got the exact drawing that the algorithm is playing off of. So, assuming that this does work, again, being high risk, A move down to that 528, 526 area would be the primary. And then after that would be 517 for a break down to 509. And then you have your big gap from over the weekend way down here under 494. And that was the reason why I even got started on this thing, but looking very clean, everything right now. So when it retraces, how it retraces, that's the big picture on it. Over on Citigroup, the 32 trade pending that is still on with the April expiration, 51.55, came right down to it yesterday and almost got that break. Almost started showing 30% over there on those April 19th 52.50 puts. You got earnings coming out tomorrow. I don't give a shit what articles are written by some bullshit fucking website that is running articles just for advertisements. All of it is complete and utter fucking crap. The answers, 999% of the time, is going to come out of your charts. Looking at a 4-hour chart, we got oversold. Very, very clean oversold. Looking at a daily chart, we just came off of overbought and started to make a move down, which is a fractional commitment. Fractional. Earnings are still due out. And when earnings come out, we will see what we have to work with. And that will be tomorrow after the opening bell. So again, as we go in here to the start of Thursday with CPI coming out at 8:30 in the morning. And here is your ES chart for the week. Rally, gap up over here over on Monday. Nothing but flatness until yesterday's slow float up until the ETF came out, and boom, here you are. Plus 17 points right up to your all-time highs, which over on the SPX, that would bring you to, sorry, not your all-time highs, your 2023 highs. 47.93 would be, but because you are up 16 points overnight, we would be looking somewhere around that 4,800 level, should it appear. And being that we have the ability to go back, going back to 20, if you just got drunk there, I apologize. December 28th, December 29th, December 30th, and January 4. This is 2021. This is 2022. Multiple 4,800 visits, 0 4,800 closes. Have an amazing morning. Have a beautiful Thursday, and play yourself some Borat because, well, they found the tunnels.
The answer is obvious, my friends. It is the Jews. Covetous Jews who have taken all our money and hoarded it for themselves. Hidden all the cash in some secret Jew cave that they built, probably back in the early 60s.